Let's actually hear from the Indian skipper at the press conference talking about this rather contentious issue.
Before we had the selection meeting in Dubai, we got a mail 2 days before that, which said that he's unavailable for selection. He's picked up an injury during the IPL, and it mentioned that there's a 2-week rest and rehab period, and it said that the pros and cons and the implications of the injury have been explained to him, and he understood that. So he was unavailable for selection, and that was the information we got on mail before the selection meeting. And after that, he played in the IPL, so we all thought that he's going to be on that flight to Australia, and which he wasn't. And we had no information whatsoever on the reason why he's not traveling with us. And after that, the only other information officially we have received on mail is that he's in the NC and he's been assessed, and that he'll be further assessed on 11 December. So from the time that the selection meeting happened to the IPL finishing, and now when this email came about his assessment at the NCA, there's been no information, there's been lack of clarity. And we've been playing the waiting game on this issue for a while now, which is not ideal at all. So yeah, it's been very confusing, and there's been a lot of uncertainty and lack of clarity around the situation.
You'd have to say a little bit disappointing, because I think the one thing you want, Zaheer, is communication. Between board, players amongst themselves, etc.
Well, I think yes, you're right when it comes to communication. Clearly that one thing stands out, that communication is something which has been the talking point. But what I'd like to share with the viewers is that, the complexities of the scenario and the situation also. When you look at different formats of the game, the requirement around the fitness for different format is different as well. Like you're talking about T20 game, which goes on for about 3.5 hours. You have one days which goes on for about 7 hours, and test matches which you're talking about, say 30 to 40 hours of cricket. So every format requires different fitness demands, and I think in Rohit's case, the communication around that maybe could have been simple, or could have been the complex what we've been seeing so far. I think there are different variables. The management also can look at things differently, right? Like, if you want a certain player to play the match, at what level of fitness you want him to be, and what kind of role he's playing, and to this, the example which comes to my mind is Rahul Dravid's example. He had a shoulder issue which could have been managed conservatively, or he had to undergo surgery. Now the timelines are completely different for a different kind of approach. And as an athlete, as a cricketer, you don't want to miss games of cricket. So in Rahul Dravid's case, in ODIs he was wicket keeping, so you don't need to be throwing at any time in the game. And in test matches, he was fielding in the first slip most of the time. So if you ask at that stage Rahul Dravid to throw from the boundary line to prove his fitness, he was not fit and available. But if you looking at it, saying that, okay, fine, he's going to be fielding in the first slip and wicket keeping in the ODIs, we can manage him conservatively. He need not undergo surgery. And so every case is a different case, and you have to see how one can how determined one is to play, and that's something which Rohit showed as well. I think by physios, by medical staff, the whole timelines were completely different, but his body reacted completely differently, and he was fit and available, not maybe at the 100% fitness, but he was still able to do the job, and he got those 70 crucial runs in that final as well, lifting that trophy. So I think there are certain things to be looked upon for sure.
Michael, coming back to you on the topic, Zach obviously talking about someone who he's very close to, he spent an entire season with, but from someone afar, a neutral perspective, Michael Vaughan, not ideal to have this circumstances play out, and we also saw the latest press release at midnight from the BCCI.
No, but that tells me a little bit more that obviously if his father's not well, he needs to be at home looking after him. But a few weeks ago when the injury came about and the talk about Rohit, missing out on the Australian tour, what I didn't quite understand is because Rohit Sharma is such a world-class performer and one of the performers that you look at in this Indian side, for India to go to Australia and win, you really want that kind of quality in and around your team. And even if he's not playing, I believe Rohit Sharma would add something to that squad. So I didn't quite understand that if he is testing out his fitness, why isn't he with the team? Why isn't he in Australia with the trainers, with the side, going about his exercises to see what kind of state his body's in? How fit could they get him to match kind of status whilst being in Australia? But just having him around with that experience and the way that he manages people, is a wonderful captain, obviously, of Mumbai. I personally would have taken him to Australia if circumstances allowed in terms of what was happening in his family life. Just to have him around that group of players, talking, working with the physios, working with the trainers, and that would have given him as good a chance of being able to play potentially some part in the Test series. By staying in India and them giving him that December the 11th kind of cut-off, I'd be surprised now if we see Rohit Sharma in Australia throughout the Test series, and it could only be for those last two Test matches anyway. I am surprised that they didn't have him over there just training with the team.